shadows wander. They sweep the walls, they crawl and crawl to kiss the light. They creep and crawl. They creep and crawl. They creep and crawl. Oh, they creep and crawl. They creep and crawl. They creep and crawl in the dark. As she walks, they creep and
Hey guys, today is another day of Halloween, but it's not just any other day. It is Friday the 13th. I thought it would be the best to go classic on this one and do my favorite, the zombie. I pulled some inspiration for this from the Taylor Swift Look What You Made Me Do zombie. When I saw that music video, did I love it? But did I love the zombie? Oh, you bet your ass I did. And I wanted to recreate that on my face. So that very hollowed out, coming up out of the grave style zombie. And I absolutely love the way this turned out. I did have some mishaps along the way. We are going to get into all that very soon. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am putting out a new Halloween costume makeup tutorial pretty much every other day throughout the month of October. You guys can also follow me on all my other social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. I tweet a lot, and if you ever want to know an update or any sneak peeks about Halloween, Twitter and Snapchat are the place. Also, while you guys are here, if you like the look of this makeup tutorial, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, and it lets me know what you guys like to see. So let's get going. I started off with my face cast. Now, if you don't have one of these, you don't need to fret. You can use a styrofoam head. You can sculpt straight onto either a piece of parchment paper or cling film. If you decide to go one of those routes, it's not going to fit your face as well. You can also sculpt this directly onto your face day of. It doesn't give you as much room for error and mistakes if you do mess up. Again, if you want to use something like a styrofoam head, it's not your perfect face shape, but it'll work. Before sculpting, I wanted to get everything prepped, so I have little mini popsicle sticks. I picked these up at Walmart. I have my sculpting tools and slip latex, which is a latex that has clay slip added to it to thicken it, and I find this to be the best to work with. But if you're unable to get slip latex, regular liquid latex or balloon latex will do. I'm gonna stop saying latex because that word is making me want to die. I've also got these cotton balls, and that is the entirety of what the face is made out of. So I first start out by outlining my eye in slip latex to get a base layer down that the cotton will stick to. I then unroll a cotton ball and place it down around the eye. We're now creating the deepened eye socket portion, and this is really just the base layer. But what's really cool about using popsicle sticks is that because they have that flat edge, you're able to get a really nice, precise edge without having to worry about your prosthetic looking chunky, which can sometimes happen when you use cotton and latex. You can really work the latex directly into the cotton, really push it down and smooth it out. You can get it relatively smooth. Now, fortunately, we are undead and crawling out of a grave, so we don't need to look super clean and perfect. We also have decaying flesh. It doesn't need to look absolutely smooth like human skin. So as you can see, I'm building up almost like a little moat around my eye and really blending those edges down. I also sometimes like to use my finger and smooth down. That can really help the latex to get nice and smooth, especially after it's sat there for a minute. It's gotten a little bit easier to work with. Directly when it's poured out of the bottle, it's very, very wet and a little bit runny. So I created the divots up where the eye socket would be. I thought of this as if my face were rotting away and this were exposing the bone underneath. So essentially, apparently that's my favorite word, you're creating what your eye socket looks like underneath your skin. I wanted those high, prominent cheekbones. Place the cotton down, you just soak it in latex, and then you can really manipulate it into the shape that you want. I was looking at a reference photo of Taylor Swift. She just looked like the classic zombie to me, and I really love the way that they did that makeup look. I focused more on the areas of my eyes for this. As you'll see a little bit later, I did carry it down the rest of my face to add a jawline, but I ended up not liking the way that it looked during application. And so that's why I'm not worrying about showing it to you for the sculpting process. I love to initially put down all of the latex and cotton with my popsicle stick and then really blend it out with my finger to get the smoothest finish possible. With the hollowed out eye sockets, you also want to incorporate angry brows. If you don't do the angry brows, you can tend to look a little bit happy and unfazed, and as a zombie, you really wouldn't be that way. You want to add expression into your face, and so I just lay a piece of cotton right over the top of my brow, angled more downwards towards the bridge of my nose and higher up at the outer corner of my face.
Look from somewhere different. I know that I've been slipping. I fold my tie and ribbon to hide my scars. That's how it starts. Ooh, I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control.
We also want it to look like our nose is rotting away, so to have that bridge of the nose be higher, and then for the ball of your nose, it sticks out on its own. We'll paint that later to make it look like it's exposed flesh underneath. Keep building until you like the height of your eyes. I wanted mine to be very high out. The final step is to make sure that all of your edges are as smooth and close down to the skin as possible. Here you can see the jawline that I had made. I made it look like the bone of my lower jaw was sticking out. And again, the reason I didn't show me sculpting this is because it all gets cut off in about 5 minutes. Now on to the application process. There you can see the final piece. What's really nice about slip latex is that it dries into a very rubber consistency and it works great for masks. If you used this and made a full mask out of it, you can completely reuse it later because it's very strong and holds up really well. So for the application, I first put down a little bit of liquid latex. You can use Pros-Aide, spirit gum, any sort of adhesive. As you can see here, it's me looking at my own face and going, what is even happening? So I peel off the bottom and I cut off the chin and the cheek areas to make it completely just my eyes. Basically, my forehead, eyebrows, I got those angry brows on, and then it just goes from the eye sockets down into my normal face. So now that we've got the shape that we actually want, I then go in with liquid latex right around those edges and place a little bit of cotton because we're going to blend that little mask we made off of our face onto our skin and let that completely dry down. Then taking a little Q-tip and some Pros-Aide cream. If you're unaware of what Pros-Aide cream is, it is a thickened Pros-Aide. And if you don't know what Pros-Aide is, it's a medical grade adhesive, which is really great for gluing down prosthetics. But the thickened Pros-Aide really helps to just blend the edges out and give it more strength and stability. When I use this, I find that nothing moves. I have no slip-ups and no pulling up of edges, which is really nice. After that glue dries completely, I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder just to powder over the top and get it to not be tacky anymore. It's very, 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 very sticky.
Look from somewhere different.
And then going with my Skin Illustrator on the set palette and 99% isopropyl alcohol, I am painting the mask. I wanted this to look as skin-like as possible, which is why I use alcohol paints. Alcohol paints have a much more translucent appearance to them, and they are only activated with 99% isopropyl alcohol. Because they are activated with only alcohol, that means they will only come off with alcohol or a remover, which makes it for very long application of wear without worrying about anything transferring, rubbing off. That's why I love alcohol paints so much. They have a translucency that looks like skin. You can build them up in a beautiful way more than water activated or green paints. Be careful when using these around your eyes because alcohol, weirdly enough, burns your eyes. Who'd have thought? So I first go in with the light flesh tone color, which is the lightest color in the palette, and then I move on to the deep areas of my face. I took the light area all over my face first just to give a nice base, and then I'm going in and deepening up areas like my eye sockets and where the depth of my cheeks would be. Where I built up the eye sockets, it would be deep underneath those because it's casting a shadow down onto our face, and the skin below that is apparently supposed to be eaten away and sunken in. We want to make it appear that that skin is hollowed out, and you do that by darkening up that area. I really love dabbing motions when using alcohol paints because it gives a mottled texture to the skin. Skin texture is hard to emulate, But a really good rule of thumb is to layer, layer, layer. Depending on your skin tone, it's going to vary, and it's also going to vary what colors you would use first because you would want to match it to your skin tone. I'm trying to go as if my natural skin here is rotting off of my face. My skin at least has pink and yellow undertones. It's mottled looking, and you can also see a little bit of blue through it. Those are your veins, and you want to add that vein tone in. When I start adding the blue vein tone in on my face, you can see that it really starts to look a lot more realistic and a lot more putrefied than when I just had the pink, white, and salmon tones down. I layered this and probably sat here doing this for at least a half an hour, really making my skin look as mottled and textured as possible. If you put a color down that you're not particularly happy with, alcohol removes alcohol paint. So if you don't like a color that you put down, you just take a bit more alcohol, run it over the top, and start over, or layer, layer, layer. That's what's really nice about it, is it layers really beautifully and it still keeps its translucency, so you can see that it looks like real skin much more than a body paint would. I want to take some cream paint around my eyes because you don't want to use alcohol paints around your eyes. It will burn far too much and it's just not good for you. So I took some cream paint from the Mehron Bruise wheel, the black and the brown shades mixed together, and ran it all around my eyes. Then taking some black hairspray just to give a really aged look around the edges. You hold the spray can nozzle down just a teeny little bit and it sends these little black dot flecks all over your face that gives a really cool splattered appearance to the skin. I wanted to run that same exact pattern down my neck onto my chest and make my skin look very hollowed out there as well. The way you would do that is by contouring around your collarbone, around areas that you want to look sunken in, be deeper, and highlighted where you want them to pop out. So I wanted it to look like my collarbone was sticking way out because obviously the skin around it had been rotting away. I take some of that very light color from the palette, which is the very top left. I pat that all over the bone area and that really adds a lot of depth. To deepen up my waterline and to make sure that there's no regular skin showing through, I just throw on a little bit of black eyeliner. To go with our zombie skin, make sure that you take a tooth polish, and I am using the nicotine color, which is this really beautiful yellow, and running that all along my teeth. You'll want to make sure your teeth are dry first so it adheres the best, and then you're good to go. Fresh decaying skin would not be dry and crispy, it would be wet and it would be very moist, and all the words that nobody wants to hear. So I'm very sorry. So I took a little bit of lube. You can use Vaseline. What's nice about lube is that it's not super sticky, at least this one isn't, and it leaves that really cool finish to the skin. And for my hair, I take the Redken Diamond Oil. You don't need this, you can use conditioner, you can use Vaseline, anything you feel comfortable putting in your hair. I had this and I thought, heck, why not just do it? It smells great anyway. And I threw that all throughout my hair to make my hair look greasy and unkempt. I then did some veining on my nose coming out from the base so that it looked like my nose was rotting away on the top and there's some veins exposed. And I also threw a couple of veins on my forehead as well. It's very simple. You just take a very fine tipped brush and run it in the jagged shapes down. And with alcohol paint, it's nice because you get a very light wash of color, which looks like a translucent vein, and it's awesome. I then threw in a pair of white out contact lenses. These are from camoeyes.com. And that is the completed look. I hope you guys love it. I really like this look and I feel like it's not too hard to achieve. It really ends up being to work with your own features to give you that angry eyebrow, the hollowed out eye look with the high cheekbone, and the rotting off nose. And that's pretty much it. Alright, I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys loved this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am putting out a new Halloween costume makeup tutorial pretty much every other day in October. I say pretty much because I missed Wednesday because this video I had fully edited and it got completely deleted. My Final Cut Pro crashed and lost all of my footage. So I've had to re-edit this video twice. And let me tell you, this was 5 hours of footage I had to go through. Also, follow me on all my other social media. Everything will be linked down below. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video. Bye!